How's it going, everybody? This is Let's Talk, where the discussion gets personal. Today, I have a very special guest in the building, a good friend of mine, George. How you doing, George?
I'm good, man. Just excited for this draft. I've been spending way too much time researching guys that are going to go in like the 5th round for no reason whatsoever.
Hey, but that's football, bro. I mean, this is what we love to do. I mean, we love to scout these prospects, and in my opinion, we have a real deep draft this year. From quarterback position to the wide receivers, even to the defensive positions, preferably like corners. You feel what I'm talking about?
And yeah, 100%. Definitely, there's guys like the quarterback is kind of top heavy, and then we go wide receivers super deep, but then you go tight ends. You got one guy.
Yeah, you got one guy at tight end, but this one guy, he's a dude. He's a freak of nature. But
I think that
I kind of want to pick your brain today and see some of your philosophies and what do you think with this upcoming draft? Because we got 5 days until, somebody gets their name called. We already know probably the consensus number 1 pick is Trevor Lawrence. But underneath that, everybody else, it's up for grabs, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's a million ways you could do that top 10. We don't know. There's still trades that's going to happen. What do the Falcons want to do?
That's what I'm saying.
I say you go Pitts, but that starts that argument. You never take a tight end that high, which I think is nonsense.
I have to agree with that though, because a tight end.
I want to hear your take on this.
A tight end that high, you could reach for a tight end in the later rounds. You feel me? And right now, try to settle like Atlanta quarterback Matt Ryan, not believing in it anymore.
Okay.
Do you want to get maybe a quarterback that you could have for the future? Or get you a skilled player that, is going to be there in and out all the time. A reach for Kyle Pitts at number 4 for Atlanta, that's pretty big.
I think it depends who San Fran takes at 3. But when it comes to Kyle Pitts, I think after we've seen what Kelsey and Kittle have been able to do to an offense, it's a nightmare for defenses. And people talk.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So a guy like Kyle Pitts, like there's never, like you hear all the draft analysts, like there's never been a ranked tight end like Kyle Pitts graded this way. So you can point at, look at the top 10 tight ends. None of them have ever worked out to like the way that they were spotted at. Yeah. But like you say, that with Big 12 quarterbacks, and then Patrick Mahomes comes around and blows that all up.
Out of nowhere. But it's just, to me, it's hard to reach because I've seen this with the Giants when we had the number 2 pick or whatever. And we reach for Saquon. Even though I love Saquon so much, to me, it's really not paying off right now. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's why I'm scared of a reach like that. It's different maybe with a tight end because, Kyle Pitts, 6'5", freak of nature. He's about 240, I believe. Great hands. And, he got great hips and he could run in and out of routes. And he can score you some touchdowns. I just don't like the reach at number 4 for a tight end. But
what team are you on for the Giants here? What pick are you all on? You on offensive lineman?
I'm big.
Waddle? What do you want?
I'm big on taking another skill player. I'm big on getting a wide receiver. But if I'm telling you, if we don't have, if Devonte Smith is not an option, Jamar Chase is not an option, even if Waddle is not an option, I'm okay with taking a big guy or working in on defense and trying to get a good defensive player, maybe a Micah Parsons, maybe a Patrick Surtain, and because I'm not really trying to reach for a skill player. If Devonte Smith is gone, let's scrap it and let's keep moving. Let's build a line or let's build on defense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm eager to hear what you think about the number 11 pick for the Giants.
Honestly, I think it depends what the Cowboys give them in a sense. Obviously, like that's going to be biased, but if Patrick Surtain is there at 10, I think he's going to the Cowboys unless like a Penei Sewell ends up free falling, or I think there's a lot of people that like Rashawn Slater, and Rashawn Slater is the next guy that if he falls to the Giants, man, I know you want a skill player, but Rashawn Slater falls, and you saw what he did against Chase Young. He's going to do that 2 times a year, and
that's what I'm.
Good.
If he's there, I'll take him. I'll take a big boy, and we could plug him in at multiple. I believe he could play both sides. right?
Yeah, people are worried about the arm length because he kind of has guard arm length, but the way he uses his hands, I think he can. You saw what he did with Chase Young. Like he held his own against Chase Young.
That's a big boy in and of itself, Chase Young.
Well,
so.
a tactician too, a guy that he's got 5 moves he could throw at you, and he was able to handle it.
Yes, he was. Yeah, so I mean, I do like Rashawn Slater. If he's there, take him. But you know what? There's a lot of things that we could do in this draft just because our free agent overhaul was pretty sweet. So we could probably go in any direction. Do I know? Of course not. You know, only Dave Gettleman knows and
no
Joe
one knows.
Judge. Yeah. You know? But
you want to start with quarterbacks?
I'm glad you're on the show, and let's get right into it right now. Let's talk about quarterbacks. Let's talk about, what is your top 5 list at quarterback right now?
Just going down the list quick. It's pretty basic. I go Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, Lance, big drop off.
Okay. Who?
And then I go round drop off. Let's not get too wild. And then I go Mac, and then I put Mac next to one of my pet cats, which like pet cat is like you like him, but no one else likes him.
Yeah.
So you call him your pet cat. I love this guy. I love Jamie Newman from Wake Forest.
Tell me why.
Well, Jamie Newman's one of those guys that he opted out, but the thing is, he played at Wake Forest I think his sophomore junior year. He graduated Wake Forest, but then he transferred to Georgia. Yeah. And you give him a year in that Georgia offense, I think he would have moved his stock up so high.
Probably would have been a dude.
Yeah, and I'm a real big believer in him. And when I watch him and Mac Jones, man, I don't see much of a difference. Like
we could all say we're not too high on a Mac Jones.
He's got adequate arm. Like his arm doesn't blow you away. And at the same time, you look at his wide receivers, like when you go to the NFL, you usually have the best wide receivers you ever had. He's like Joe Burrow. Like you're going to have worse wide receivers than you had in college. His wide receivers were open by 10 yards each time.
Especially, I mean, if he falls to like a 49ers, it's a good system, but I don't believe like you said, I don't think he has the arm in this league to be great, And we've seen players like what's his name? The Chicago Bears turned Buffalo Bills.
Trubisky.
Yeah, we've seen players like that, not the best footwork, not the best technique, not the best arm, really not be successful in this league. That's why I'm scared of a Mac Jones,
Yeah, like there are guys like obviously Lawrence at the top just because he's the day one ready.
Yeah.
At the top of the draft. Like he's day proven. One. Dude, he's so fast in his reads, like his mental processing. Like he knows the ends of the play before he even snaps it. Yeah. But then you look at a guy like Trey Lance is my number 4, but could Trey Lance be the best in this class? Easily. But
I like Trey Lance, and he sat out this year too, I believe, right?
He did.
He's a sophomore. A lot of room for improvement. He was a sophomore. He's going to be a rookie this year. A lot of room for improvement with Trey Lance.
Yeah, with Trey Lance, like he's one of those guys. He's the only one that calls his own protections. So he's one of the smartest guys. Yeah. He calls mandatory meetings the night before games, like Friday night meetings before a game. But when you watch his film, like he runs a ton, man. He throws the ball like 15 times a game.
He's going to be legit. Whoever he goes to, he's going to be legit. Big
but it's going to take time.
What did you say?
It's going to take time. Don't force him into something and expect him day one that this guy's going to be a gunslinger. Yeah. I think that's the appeal of Wilson. Zach Wilson's my number 2 just because he makes all of the no, yes throws where my comp for him, honestly, my friend actually brought it up the other day, was he's a mix between Brett Favre and Johnny Manziel for me, where he's going to one game he's going to throw 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yep. You're like, this guy is it. He is the next coming of Mahomes. And then the next game, he'll throw for 150 and 3 picks, and you're like, what
is he the one?
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that. I believe Zach Wilson is going to be that guy in this league. Like you said, he's going to have his ups and downs in his rookie year, even if he plays.
I think the Jets are gonna play him.
You think the Jets are gonna get him and plug him in automatically?
Oh, yeah. It's just I hate to say typical Jets, but the Jets need that guy that is just gonna. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. Like, what's gonna happen once that?
Hey, but I mean, they're changing the culture over there in Gang Green. You know,
Hope so.
So I mean, if Zach Wilson comes in and he starts gunslinging and he starts balling, they're gonna love him automatically. But how about we talk about somebody that people are really not talking about, in Kyle Trask from Florida. Like, I'm hearing the Saints want him. I watched his pro day. I think Kyle Trask is one of the better ready quarterbacks to play and win now than most of these guys in your top 5. Could you agree with that?
The way I have Kyle Trask is I think he's low end starter, but I think he'd be a great backup. Like you throw, like, even if he doesn't work out as a starter, like you throw Kyle Trask in there, I think he's gonna be a backup, like, at worst for the longest time. He's a high floor, a really high floor guy.
But just a backup, you don't think he could be a starter in this league?
He definitely can be. There are games where he just picked apart defenses.
Just he threw over 4,000, right? Last year, over 4, and I think like 40 something touchdowns to 8 interceptions. I mean, the dude's a baller, and he's like 6'5", so he could see over these offensive linemen. What system do you think could excel him to being a great quarterback in this league, a starter, because you have him on the bench?
Like, you talk about, like, the New Orleans Saints, you give him a system where he has weapons.
Make him let him sit a year.
Yeah, even let him learn the offense, and you give this guy weapons. You don't make him do too much. I think he has the same questions as Mac Jones with the arm, but like, I think he can get the job done for a team.
I'm a big believer, bro. I mean, he has great footwork. He has some size. All right, the arm is a little touchy, but he can make the throw. He's accurate. So yeah, I just hope he falls into the right system. If he winds up with the Saints, I think that's a great system. I don't know who's starting for them this year, if it's Jameis or the other kid turned quarterback, but I believe if Kyle Trask ends up on the Saints, it's going to be legit.
Yeah, I think right before we go to the next position, I just want to. I think I'd be remiss to not mention Fields. For me, Fields he's right next to Wilson, and the only thing that puts Wilson above is the plays. But I think people don't talk about Justin Fields' accuracy enough. I think
that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't get enough love on his accuracy, and they talk about a guy that wants to be great. I think he's one of those guys that he's going to put the hours in on his craft. And like you said, any of these top 4, I don't see it with Mac Jones with the arm, and I think he's kind of late on throws. The ball placement could be a little better. But out of those top 4 that I mentioned, I think any of those could be the number 1.
That's what I'm saying. Anybody could be the number 1. Unfortunately, we know Jacksonville. We know where they're heading. But But Fields, he's great, and he has the arm strength, he has the accuracy, and he could run a little bit too. So we got to look for that on any team that he goes to, any team.
Yeah.
Let's get into wide receiver now.
Let's do it.
This is real deep, real deep. All right, who is your top 5 in this year's draft, and maybe a sleeper that you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get hate on this one, but obviously, I got Chase at the top. I think that's
okay. Jamar sealed. Number 1.
Yeah, Jamar number 1. Then I go Waddle, and this is the one where I love her. I have Rashad Bateman at 3.
Okay.
Devonte Smith at 4, and then Elijah Moore at 5.
Oh wow! No
Jalen
Watt. You had Waddle in there, right?
Waddle's number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Okay. All right.
This isn't a slight at Devonte Smith. I just think, and I think we've talked about this before, is when you look at Rashad Bateman's routes, he has the most defined route tree right next to him and Waddle.
Yeah.
Their routes are incredible, and their ability to get open.
It's crisp. Their ability to get in and out of breaks, the footwork is there. All right. And the thing about Waddle, he has some speed. He's great athleticism.
Doesn't get tackled too. He's tough to get down.
Yep. And kind of reminds me of not size-wise, but like you said, you really can't tackle him like a CeeDee Lamb type, because you really can't tackle CeeDee Lamb, and he's crisp on his routes too.
Yeah, the joystick can't tackle him, man.
Yeah.
But Chase, he beat every single cornerback that he faced. Good ones too. Trevon Diggs, C.J. Henderson, the guy from Clemson last year. He embarrassed all of them.
Yeah. I'm curious at why Devonte Smith is number 4. A lot of people are talking about, his size, and when he came in, he weighed in at a little under $170. I think it was a buck
170.
170, right? Is his size attributing to his number 4 slot? Because this is the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, I know. Definitely a little bit. 170. It makes you think a lot about Hollywood Brown, and how that Ravens offense has regressed because he just hasn't become a true number 1 like AJ Brown has in Tennessee. But with Devonta Smith, he's not like People always talk about Marvin Harrison with him because he doesn't do anything great, but there's no flaws. He just does everything good. So when you're wide receiver, talk about ceiling a lot, and I think just guys just do things. Some guys do things better than he does.
Yeah. So do you think he reached his ceiling? Do you think the Alabama offense was predicated and set up for him to be successful? Of course, we see a lot of players like that, but do you think Devonte Smith could offer us more in the league?
Yeah, I think he definitely could. But I think people don't talk about it enough is Jalen Waddle had better numbers through the first 4 games before Waddle got hurt.
Yeah. I believe Waddle is like one of the best overall draft prospects in this draft. And he's kind of been going unnoticed for being like one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft.
Because his teammate won the Heisman.
That's facts.
And like we talked about, this is such a deep group where, to me, if you're not getting one of the top 3 guys, just wait until the 3rd, 4th round, because you got guys like Nico Collins from Michigan, Dwayne Eskridge, Shi Smith. Look at some of the catches Shi Smith makes. It's it's amazing.
Yeah, I understand.
And you get this guy in the 4th round.
Yep. That's why it's so deep, this draft. And you have Elijah Moore in your top 5, and a lot of people really aren't putting him up there like you are. And I know you're high on Elijah Moore. Can you just tell us why? What does Elijah Moore have that others can't offer? He stands at 5'9". I mean, his leap from 2019 to 2020 for Ole Miss was a great jump. Over 1,000 yards this year, 8 touchdowns. What is it about Elijah Moore that you think is where you see greatness?
Yeah, I think he's just a can't-miss slot guy. He's going to be a great slot wide receiver, and he's a good enough route runner that I think the problem with Tony is a lot of people have Tony in their top 3 or 4. But the problem with Tony is you kind of just need to scheme for him because he's kind of all over the place with the routes. The hands are all over the place. There's a really high bust potential with Tony. There's off the field stuff. But Elijah Moore, I think he's just more of a sure thing. I'm taking the safer guy.
Yeah, and he's proven too. He's proven. I think he's gonna be able to be a good wide receiver in this league and plug him in the slot. Maybe even out wide. I know he got some speed to him. Maybe even out wide.
He did everything for that Ole Miss offense.
Yeah,
literally everything. Run the ball, catch the ball. He was exhausted by the end.
He has good hands too. I don't know what game it was against, but I saw he caught a fly route down the seams on 2 defenders. In between 2 defenders, brought it down. So
it might have been Bama because they scored 60 points.
Might have been, but he's legit. He's legit. As we transition from the wide receivers, and I love your list. I love how you have Elijah Moore in there and Jalen Waddle at number 2 because I'm big on Jalen Waddle. As we transition to defense now, give me your top corners that you think is going to be successful in this league. Everybody knows my number 1. I talked about it a few weeks ago with Patrick Surtain. But who do you believe is the best corner in this league? And give me your list.
Yeah, when it goes to my top 5 in corners, I got Surtain at number 1. Then I got Horn.
Okay.
Then Gregory Newsome, Caleb Farley, and then Asante Samuel Jr.
Okay. Asante Samuel Jr.
Big fan. But like you said, we've talked about Patrick Surtain before. But the thing about Surtain is it's just he's just so smooth. You just feel so safe.
That's what I'm saying. And
Patrick Surtain.
You want that security.
Yeah, like he's such a high floor.
But I remember we were talking, and you talked about him. There's not much flair. You know what I mean? He's just a regular guy back there, and he's gonna lock up maybe a 1 or number 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of people the appeal for J.C. Horn is you contrast the two with Surtain. It's like sometimes Surtain looks like a guy that the guy that plays football versus the football player. Like a guy that shows up, does his job, does it really well. That's Patrick Surtain. Sometimes, like, it's boring film because they just don't throw at him.
That's what I'm saying. But that's great. Just because.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to throw.
I don't want nobody to throw at my side if I'm playing corner. I mean, that's what makes him so great. So, I mean, is he gonna fall if he's there for the Giants? If the Cowboys don't take him, if he's there for the Giants, would you be happy with that pick?
That the Cowboys didn't take Patrick Surtain?
If they don't take him and he's available for the Giants.
Unless the pick was Penei Sewell or maybe even Slater, I could swallow it. But you can't turn down Patrick Surtain. It's really like I can't imagine Patrick Surtain not being a solid corner.
Yeah, and he's one of the bigger guys too. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about him guarding a bigger guy like a DK. Some of your big receivers.
Good tackler too. I think the Alabama guys, you're getting a good tackler. J.C. Horn, I love J.C. Horn. The thing about J.C. Horn is he just wants to fight you on every play, and he's that. When you talk about what do you want out of your corner, it's like you want that guy who gets off the plane and he looks around. He's like, who I'm covering. He's like, get the hell out of the way. I'm traveling with him. Yep. He's like, I'm gonna give this guy 2.5 hours of hell, and he's gonna hate me at the end of the game.
Yep.
That's J.C. Horn.
He's gonna follow me on all social media accounts. One of those.
He's just gonna want the game to end.
Yep, I understand that. So J.C. Horn, you had him at what, number 2?
Yeah, Horn's 2 for me, and it's close. Him and Surtain are 1 and 2. Then there's a little bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
With the Caleb Farley news. The problem with Caleb Farley is his when it comes to backs, backs don't get much better.
Yeah.
Like how much better can a back get?
That's very true. We've seen that. How much better can a back get?
It's right. It's a second issue with it. Like how much better? It's not going to be like these just go away. It seems like a lingering problem.
Yeah. Hey, but that's the league, That's the league. We
fall for medical concerns all the time.
All the time. So, do you think that's going to hurt his draft stock?
Oh yeah, many people had him as cornerback 1. I think he's going to go maybe cornerback 3, cornerback 4 now.
And that's he's going to be losing some money because of that too.
Oh, millions.
So unfortunate. So unfortunate. So we're covering some corners. We covered our wide receivers. We covered our quarterbacks. Let's get into a little bit of edge. And I believe we were talking before, it's not really so much edge guys that could really make a difference for a team in this year's draft. We don't see any Chase Youngs coming out in this year's draft. Who is a surprise for you in this edge rushers in this draft? Who do you have that's your top gun? Who's your top guy?
For me, my top edge rusher is Jalen Phillips out of Miami, and I think the thing about him is he's such a high riser because everyone was talking about his teammate who opted out, Gregory Rousseau.
You don't have Rousseau as being the number 1.
I don't have Rousseau as a first rounder.
Wow.
Yeah, you watch the film on Rousseau, and it's just like he's got no moves. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's beating guys with power, and most of his sacks, he has 15.5 sacks. That's what everyone throws at you. But I'd say 6 or 7 of them are all coverage sacks.
Yeah, it's not really him doing the job.
Yeah, he doesn't. When you watch an edge rusher in college, you want to watch a guy that has. Give me a swim move. Give me an overhand chop.
Yep, something a rip or something. And
he just runs at you.
He's just a bull rusher. Backing into the quarterback, he gets the sack and celebrate. You want to see
to see
for
James Harrison, but
Yeah, but James Harrison's a dude. Like James Harrison's a GOAT.
Like, you got to do more than bull rush.
Yeah, you got to do more than bull rush in this league, especially now. Now.
So, what do you like at edge rush?
I like Kwity Paye. Not the best numbers, smaller guy.
Run defender, good one.
Yeah, but I love his heart. You know where he comes from, and his story. I believe is going to propel him to the next level. You know where him and his mom came from and things like that. And he was pretty solid for Michigan. Stopped the run. He's not going to get you the sacks. Like he's not going to get the high number of sacks, but he's fast off the line. And he's always going to be in the backfield, in my opinion. What team does he fall for? I don't know. Like
Where would you take him?
I'll take him anywhere out of the top. I don't think he's top 10 talent.
Okay,
but
I agree.
Anywhere beyond 10, I'm okay with. You get what I'm saying? I'm okay with him being number 14, 15 guy. You know, I believe that's where he's going to go. I believe he's going to go around there.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Maybe to a team, I don't know what team needs more edge rushers, but
never get too many of them.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. You can never have too many motors out there on the edge trying to get a sack or something.
I'll give a shout out to one of the edge rushers that I don't think gets enough love whatsoever. Actually, when it comes to edge rush, I think he's my number 2 or number 3. I love Joseph Asai out of Texas.
Ooh, wow!
Like most people have him like mid-second. I think he falls mid-second. Like you're getting a guy that, like we said with Kwity Paye that you love about him is he high motor.
Yep.
I think he's got more bend than people give him credit for.
To get around those big offensive linemen.
Yeah, like you talk about, and he actually got sacks, and he got like 8.5. While we got Jason Oweh going in the first out of Penn State. Jason Oweh didn't even have sacks.
Yeah, not a lot of numbers from these players last year that are coming out.
No,
you know, got a lot of opt-outs. You know, that didn't play. So there's a lot to prove, especially with these edge rushers. I'm still curious why Rousseau is so far off your list. Well, we already know, but like, I believe that he's going to come into the league and be a dog.
Yeah, I think he got some with Rousseau. The problem is his when he tested at his pro day, he was, I think, 20 pounds heavier than he was when he played. I think the rumor is someone got in his ear and said, you need to add weight, you need to add more power. And his testing numbers were terrible.
Yeah.
He ran a slow 40, and the measurements weren't as good as people thought they were. Not a good broad jump. Like he wasn't as athletic as people thought they were. And his teammate Jalen Phillips blew him out of the water. And a guy that has, like, he's got a rip, he's got a chop.
Yeah.
Like he's got the same motor. I think if the medicals check out for Jalen Phillips, he's edge 1 for me.
Edge 1?
Yeah.
All right. Man, this has been awesome. This is Let's Talk, where the discussion gets personal. We're going to take a quick break, but we're going to be right back with my boy George, and we're going to be discussing some linebackers next, all right? We are back with my boy George. I had to take a quick break really quick. But what's next is we're going to discuss some linebackers, a favorite position of mine, all right? And, George, I'm just curious. Again, I know you have another list, right?
Yeah.
Who do you have on this linebackers list that is going to be great in this league?
Yeah. Going down my top 5, I got Micah at number 1, Micah Parsons. Then I go Zaven Collins at 2, JOK at 3.
Okay.
Jamin Davis at 4, and then Jabril Cox at 5.
All right. Why is Micah Parsons so high on your list? Tell me. I know he's a freak of nature.
Yeah. So with Micah Parsons, I think when you look at linebackers, you want to see what are their flashes, and also it's linebackers. It's a lot of fit. What does your team need? And I actually break it down like what for Micah Parsons, he's the best pass rushing linebacker. You need a guy that you're going to blitz at linebacker, or that just gets into the backfield. Micah Parsons is your guy. But when you talk about like who's the best, when I see zone coverage, I think Zaven Collins is the best zone coverage linebacker. Yep. So if you're looking for a zone coverage guy, that's your guy. Or a man-to-man cover guy. I think JOK is the best on that.
Okay. All right. I like Parsons a lot. I'm very high on him, but I've been hearing he has a little bit of maturity issues.
Yeah, and the off-the-field stuff's it's kind of some bad stories.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like he's gonna fall on draft day.
How far?
I think he might fall out of the top 10.
That's definitely reasonable.
Yeah, and I don't believe the Giants. I know they need a linebacker. I don't believe we will pick him if he's available either, just because of those off the field issues that he has. I hope he could straighten it up, of course, but
yeah,
I feel like Parsons can go out of 15.
Yeah, I think with Parsons, let me actually answer your question why I think Parsons is one. I think if you want to see the best linebacker tape of anyone this season, if you watch Micah Parsons against Memphis, and you think, and if he could do that on the next level, that's a franchise-changing linebacker. Yeah. But he, when you watch his tape, he still doesn't really know what he's doing. Like in high school, I think he was an edge coming to Penn State, so he's kind of new with the linebacker position. His coverage is kind of raw. And he takes the eye candy every time on read option, man. He doesn't know. Oh, dude, he doesn't know who's getting the ball.
I would have to agree with. I would have to agree with you on that.
When he guesses right, man, he could hit. He could get into the backfield, and he could rush. He can give pass rushers hell.
Yeah, that's that power that he has. I just hope he could get. I just hope he could get his affairs in order so he could be successful in this league. And I hope the off the field issues and the maturity issues don't cost him, money in the end, because we've seen it with players, having some problems and they're an afterthought, and sooner or later they're out of the league, And
100%.
Xavier Collins, I like him in your top 5. Like you said, great cover guy. All right, and he's a big boy too, like 6'4",
nearly 6'5". Yeah, nearly 6'5".
Like, dude's he's a dude.
Nearly 270 too. He's a big dude.
So I'm like, so what team do you think he could fall to? Where do you think he's going to be the best? What team does he go to?
Xavier Collins. I think when you look in those mid to late teens, you need a guy, if you want a guy that is, he's really earned everything he's got in football. He's one of those guys, no scholarship offers. He went to a spring camp at Tulsa, and that's how he got his offer to Tulsa. And man, he's one of those guys that just worked his ass off for 4 years. Smartest of the group. You're not fooling.
You gotta love those stories.
Oh yeah,
those are great stories right there.
But when you don't see the same flashes that you see from a guy like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who he's like one of those linebackers that you say like, damn, this guy, he's a hand eater. That's what you call it. A guy that like eats with his hands. That's just like a maniac linebacker. It's like, dude, so like that you want on your team, but you don't want to play against.
Word. Do we see him fall in mid-teens, say the Miami Dolphins?
For JOK or Zaven?
Zaven.
Yeah, I think some people might let Zaven. I think Zaven might fall early to mid-20s because I think a lot of people like JOK more because JOK has the flashes. He has Micah Parsons flashes.
Okay, gotcha.
But he plays a lot of control sometimes.
Yeah, I mean you want to be in control when you're on the field. So if he could fix that, he's the guy.
Yeah, he's one of those Swiss Army. He has a lot of Jabril Peppers in his game. I think some people might put him in like that. Not like a safety. He was used almost as like a safety at Notre Dame sometimes.
Oh wow, plug-in. He's a plug-in.
Yeah,
could do a little bit of everything. That's
he's a difference maker out there.
Could be multi-purposeful in the NFL. Do 100 jobs in the NFL, and you're gonna have a job basically.
Yeah, there's some guys that it depends what you want in the mid rounds. Like if you just want a coverage guy, because coverage guys is what the new NFL needs, because you need to learn how to cover Travis Kelce. You need a linebacker that can cover Kelce.
Yeah.
You can't. So, which not many can, but that's why guys like Jabril Cox at LSU is kind of rising, and that's why guys like Nick Bolton out of Missouri, who's kind of he's small, great. He's a good run player, but coverage leaves a little bit to desired sometimes.
Oh, okay. All right. So moving on, bro. Since I know you very versed on a lot of these prospects, I just want to know, who are you most impressed with so far with like all of their preparation for the upcoming draft? Like, who's your player that you think is going to be the best overall?
Player that I think is going to be the best overall.
Yeah, that impressed you the most.
I think, to be honest, Patrick Surtain, people were talking about he's slow, and then he works his ass off, and he tests with like, what do you run, like a 4.44?
He is pretty fast.
People thought he was a 4.6 guy.
No, he's pretty fast.
I think he really surprised people with his testing numbers, and same with Jalen Phillips, like another guy that he really rose through the ranks during this whole process.
Yeah, I would have to say I agree with the Patrick Surtain, because he's 6'2" and he's fast. He was fast, and he's strong too. He put up some numbers on the bench press as well. You know, with me too, I would like to say like Kyle Pitts, very high on, even though I don't think a team should reach for him in the top 5. I don't think he should go to the Falcons at number 4 or anything. But I was impressed with him and his pro day and his preparation and his speed too. Like, do you ever see like and this is just on a whim, I just want to know how you feel about this. A Kyle Pitts sometimes running wide receiver out and being stretch wide out there. What do you think? Do you think think he has what it takes?
Oh yeah, 100%. I see they Kansas City does have a Kelsey too, and it's because he's just such a big body, enormous size. And I think the one knock on Kyle Pitts is his blocking. But when you watch his blocking, he kind of loses slow. Like I saw an interview of him the other day. I think the Cowboys posted something. And it's like, what do you need to work on? He's like, I want to work on my blocking. I want to get better at my blocking. Yeah. And you like to see a guy that knows what his flaw is and he wants to get better at it.
That's right. And to be honest, I believe Kyle Pitts is gonna excel in blocking when he gets to the league. They're gonna teach him some better techniques. He's gonna be with his position coach, and that's something he's gonna work on. Other than that, I really don't see anything that's wrong with a Kyle Pitts, and that's why I was so impressed with him at his pro day and everything he's been doing leading up to this Thursday, April 29th in Cleveland. We have, I think, about one more topic to touch on, and I know you wanted to bring this up about the opt-out situation with college football this past year. Can you go into what you was saying about the opt-out situation? You think some players should have opted out this year?
Yeah, there's some guys that they're like, oh, should he have opted out? Should he not have opted out? I think there's players on both sides of the coin here. Yeah. There's some guys that played this year that I think would have been better that they didn't play. You talk about a Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade was he was an inside corner, so he was kind of like a nickel corner, and he was a first round corner going into this year, maybe second round corner. For how bad he was exposed in the playoff game and the national championship. He was embarrassed in the national championship game. He's a fifth rounder now. And you talk about guys that have just fallen since they played. Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. He was a first, maybe second round D tackle. Yeah. And he played like 3 or 4 games this year, was kind of hurt, and then he just opted out.
And it's really unfortunate because, these are some guys that have a dream, and to hear Shaun Wade might be a 5th round pick after what the scouts said he could be first, second, it just sucks,
Yeah, with Shaun Wade, like he might have played so bad at corner. People might try him he might be a safety for some teams.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think you wanted to see more film out of Rousseau. I think you also want to see more film out of Parsons and maybe some maturity out of Parsons. Yeah. Like if Parsons would have had a year of film where he could have shown that he doesn't take the bait every single time, and maybe him being a leader on the team, rather than bullying his teammates,
could have did some things. Yeah, could have did some things for him.
I think it would have made him a lock top 10 if he could have showed that.
But then you look at guys like Jamar Chase who opted out and comes back and is is like treated like God, you know?
Oh yeah. When you
from his pro
when
day.
you look at Jamar Chase, it's he had Joe Burrow last year, and he had nothing left to prove. What did Jamar Chase? Whatever good corner you threw at him, he embarrassed them.
That is
facts. Every single one. He had nothing left to prove. And when you watch the film on Rashawn Slater against Chase Young, he showed what he could do.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Is the arms a problem? He put that to rest right there. And I think Penei Sewell, he's only 20. There's some young guys in this draft. Penei Sewell, I think, is only 20 years old right now. And then there's a guy to A&M. I think Bobby Brown. He's only 20 years old.
Yeah, I also heard Penei Sewell might have a little bit of maturity issues too, and that could attest to his age. But that's what I heard from the grapevine. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if you heard about it, but I heard Penei Sewell too comes with his flaws, and we all do. We all do. So I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying, for the team that he gets drafted to, you might have to watch out a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, I've had to do so much research to try to find out because I heard that too with Penei Sewell, and I was never able to find what it was. I don't know if someone's just saying that just so maybe he falls to them in the draft. But when you see guys like the stories that pop up right away is like Micah Parsons, the bullying issue, Kadarius Toney pulled over with a loaded AR-15 in his back seat. Mac Jones had a DUI. People don't know that either.
That's crazy. You would never know.
Yeah.
You would never know. Man,
those are like concrete things that we know about.
That's facts. And before we close, I just want to know, what are you most excited about in this year's draft? Like, what are you looking forward to? Your team getting a top pick, or what is it?
Yeah, I think definitely it's the because everything's been so remote. There's going to be some guys that are going to go in the second or third round that are going to be stars in this league, just because like teams haven't been able to put their hands on these players enough that there's going to be some ultra booms and there's going to be some ultra busts in this draft.
That's what makes it so great. That's why this is one of the drafts that, I'm watching round 1 through round 7. You get what I'm saying? Because you just don't know with these players this year. A lot of opt-outs,
Opt-outs is another thing.
Yeah, like it is crazy, and that's why I'm excited to watch this year's draft too. I'm gonna be there with my popcorn ready to see what pick 11 is. But after that too, I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's football. As soon as it's gone, we get to jump into the draft process and we keep football in our lives. And then after the draft, we get to hype about these prospects until the year starts. So it's like football never ends.
I'm also looking forward to hopefully, having some fans in Giant Stadium real soon, so I could go out and catch a couple games, because it's been a while.
Yeah, I think maybe by September, I think maybe at least in New York, maybe it'll be half cap. Like Dallas is going to be full. But
of course, Dallas is going to be full. The South.
Yeah, I'm living. I've been in Charleston now for 2 years.
Hey, pretty sweet. That is dope.
It's
good weather, good food.
That's it.
Hey, so I just want to say I appreciate you, brother, for hopping on this platform. We could talk some sports a little bit. All right. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of animosity when we talk Knicks Celtics. That's coming up, I believe, in a few weeks. We might have to do a little thing on that. But before we head out, can you just tell the people your handle, your IG, maybe something in store for the future? Like, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah. My handle is just George Fabian, and it's GOGRG FABIN. But yeah, I've just been trying every single year to go deeper and deeper on this draft process. It started like a few years ago where I would basically just watch like highlight films, like the Just Bombs Productions.
Yep.
And now it's been like if you watch 3 full games play by play and you analyze, and I feel like that's what like scouts say. That's the way to you got to watch the good games, you got to watch the bad games. When you watch Justin Fields, you got to criticize the Indiana game where there's 3 picks, the same as his Clemson game where he looked like the best quarterback in the draft.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's awesome, bro. I can't wait to do some more things in the future, bro. This has been fun, and I appreciate you, bro. This is Let's Talk, where the discussion gets personal. All right, go ahead, George. Before we close.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. I really like what you're doing on here. This you're putting out great content every single week, and I just gotta say, keep it up. And I'm gonna be listening.
Absolutely, bro. You don't know how much that warms my heart, bro, because we're doing some great things over here at Let's Talk, and we're gonna keep doing great things. I appreciate you, bro, and for the future, we're gonna be talking Knicks Celtics real soon. All right.
Hey, whatever you want.
Stay tuned for that because the Knicks have been winning lately, and we've been doing some great things.
Yeah, they're really starting to turn a corner. If you want a podcast recommendation, that Shattered podcast on The Athletic talks about the 90s Knicks until now. I think, definitely take a look at that.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna give him a holler. I'm gonna see what's going on. Definitely gonna listen to that podcast. All right, bro. It's been great. Have a good one.
You too, bro.
All right. This has been awesome. I had to chop it up with my boy George. Very, very, very versed on prospects and the draft. So he knows his stuff. He's not just coming out the woodworks. Been schooling me a little bit and teaching me some new things too. So I'm gonna put those to work as well. Thank y'all for rocking with me. You know where to find us. Everything you need is in the link in the bio, and everything you need for George is going to be in the description below. All right, make sure you follow, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. All right, and this has been fun. You're rocking with the best, all right? And I know you peep the Florida State Seminoles gear and the fresh fade that I got going on, all right? This has been fun. Have a good one, America.